Since the Bantam chickens are now outside, but in a temporary structure, need to go ahead and build them a permanent coop. So we'll have a coop for the Bantams and a coop for the standard girls. We went to Home Depot, got all the wood, drew up some preliminary plans. So all that's left to do is cut down some wood and put it all together. So last night when we went to Home Depot, you can go to Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever your big box store is. A good pro tip is that they have saws there that can cut the wood for you. So that's what we did. We cut it enough so it'll fit inside of the back of a Honda Fit. So that's what we're dealing with, but able to fit all the wood needed for an entire chicken coop in the back of here. And we got to cut down everything but the 2x4s we got cut. So we got the 4x4s cut, the actual plywood. So we just need to cut down the 2x4s, get them all to the nice lengths that we need. And then once those are together, we'll basically have all the pieces to the puzzle, and we'll just put it together and it end up looking something like that. So let's get to it. Well, my plan was to give a full building tutorial on this new coop and explain how I did everything. But some things don't always go to plan. We're still not completely done with this. We're still painting it, but I wanted to go through and kind of show the semi-final product of the actual structure of the coop, what it looks like, and why I designed things the way that I did. So let's take a look. So here is the front of the coop. See, it's a nice normal house shape. It actually matches the shape of our house back there. Pretty simple shape. This is the first time designing actual coops from scratch, because the first original coop in there was an outhouse that we converted. So it's the first time actually building it. So I wanted to make it pretty simple, but I took a lot of design options, or a lot of design cues into account when making it. So the first thing I want to mention is this right here. So the space under the coop. This is a twofold reason. The first being chickens like to be up high when they go to sleep, because they're naturally roosted in trees out in the wild, and their ancestors did that as well. So I want to make it nice and high, so it's off the ground, elevated, so they feel nice and secure and kind of where they want to be when they're sleeping at night. And the second is keeping it off the ground. Make sure that you're not taking away floor space in the run, which is beneficial for a variety of reasons. One, gives them more space. You can see they're walking in and out from underneath here. Just in the run in general, like it takes a lot of money and effort to build a secure chicken run, so you don't want to take up any space that's not needed. And the second is, then it allows you some possibilities underneath this coop. So originally I was thinking about maybe some roost bars or something like that, just for during the day when they're out hanging out. But I think actually what it's going to end up being is where we're going to hang the food and water from underneath here. So we won't have to take up any ground space or any other space in this run with food and water, because they'll be hanging directly from underneath that coop. So that'll be fantastic. The second thing we did was made it so that we could attach our omelet auto door. We have one on our main coop, which we control by our phone, and it lets the girls in and out. At night lets them in, and the day in the morning lets them out. So we want to make sure we have that option as well for this new coop, which is fantastic. So that way I don't have to keep waking up early and letting them out, which I have to do right now in their current setup because they don't have an auto door. And here's the ladder that we have. So it's a little bit of a confined space in between here and the original run. We're building the extension off of it. So there's not enough space to do a ramp, because a ramp, it's a lot less steep, but it takes up more horizontal space. So a way that if you're kind of confined for space, to combat that is to build a ladder instead. So you can go a lot steeper on the pitch and a shorter distance horizontally and more space vertically to make it so that the girls can easily go in and out. So we're going to attach that once we're done painting Tell me what you guys think about this yellow color. It matches our foot holder, or I should say our shoe holder, for when we come in and out of the run for our chicken shoes. And also just favorite color of Mrs. Pyrfect Family, so she wanted to paint it nice and bright yellow, so that's what we're doing. Second design element, nice metal roof. So we live in upstate New York. It gets a lot of snow and a decent amount of rain as well, so we want to make sure it's nice and weatherproof and nice and sturdy for rain, snow, all those things. We're going to end up putting a tarp on the run once it's completely done as well, to help combat some of that, but we need to make sure that in case the tarp fails or we don't end up getting that tarp up or what have you, got a nice solid roof so that it can withstand the elements as well. Another thing that I did and I made sure to account for is, you can see through here, nice amount of ventilation. So we have a big window. It's actually bigger than this. This is the tape to keep it off of the mesh for our painting. So it goes all the way to the edges of this wood right here. And it actually goes down behind this wood as well, but I framed it out to make it a little smaller, but it could always, if we need more ventilation, easily a couple screws, pop this wood off, and it's fully secured in there to make it larger. But you can see it goes completely through. And the other nice thing about this metal roof, you can kind of see in there, you'll see here, it's got a nice ventilation peak in here. So underneath inside, I'll show you when I get in there, but there's more of this mesh. So we put down a layer of mesh up top here so that even if a critter wanted to crawl up in here, it still could only go to the mesh, it can't get through. But it gives nice ventilation on the ridge cap here. So ventilation cross breeze, ventilation going up. Should be plenty of ventilation, summer, winter, whatever you. Keep them nice and warm in the summer. I mean, nice and warm in the winter, cool in the summer. Plenty of ventilation for them. Also, another thing that you might want to include in your coop, just to make it easier on you as the person taking care of the chickens, is a nice big human clean out door, an access door. So I made sure I put this nice large door on here so that you'd be able to get in and out of this coop super easy in case you need to reach in and grab chickens. Somebody lays eggs where they're not supposed to, just in the bedding instead of the nest box, reach in, grab those. And then when it's time to clean out, you can just bring wheelbarrow here, a bucket here, or, you know, even better, what we like to do, we do the deep litter method inside the coop, and we do it inside the run. So all we're gonna have to do is just pull all the bedding out. We use hemp bedding, pull the hemp bedding out right onto the ground. Now it becomes deep litter in here like we have done in there. You can kind of see they've kicked up a little bit. There's hemp bedding in there, dirt in there, leaves in there, grass in there, and it just creates a nice thick dense floor for them to dig through, make sure that it doesn't ever get too smelly, and that all the poop just organically breaks down and goes back to earth and just becomes more dirt for them to dust bathe in. You can see all these little craters that they like to dig around, and makes it really nice. So inside this coop, we ended up doing 2 roost bars. We originally had 3, but decided it was a little too cramped as far as trying to jump down to the door and get up to the roost bar, so we make sure there's plenty of space. The bantams are really tiny, but in case any of the standard girls want to lay in here or sleep in here as well, they have enough space to jump in and out and get in here, plenty. And they're 2 3-foot roost bars, so plenty of space for our 7 bantams. And then as you can see, like I said earlier, there's the ridge cap ventilation up there. Get plenty of ventilation, and then as well, built into our automatic coop door, we have a coop light, so when it's nighttime, it will turn on light in here, which entices the girls to come in and go to bed. So that's the whole coop design. It's pretty simple to build, like I said. It's just framed out of 2x4s and some plywood. And the whole thing was built with 2 sheets of plywood. That includes the floor, the sides, the roof, underneath the metal roofing, those sheets of plywood. All of that came out to 2 sheets of plywood because it's just a little coop that's only, the coop is only 4 foot long and the sidewalls are 2 foot high. It's another 1.5 feet here at the peak. So the whole entire coop inside is about 3.5 foot tall, 4 foot long. It's a nice rectangle, super easy build. Like I said, 2 sheets of plywood, I think it was about 8 2x4s altogether, some nice hardware cloth, and that's pretty much it. Some screws, staples, metal roofing screws. That's all. Super simple to build, and now it's going to give us a nice, large, much bigger coop than the Bantam Girls are in over there with the omelet coop. And we got it all set in place here now in the run. You get a little sneak peek of what we're doing in here. I'll have a video on all that stuff that we're doing for the run, and then hopefully give you a finished product of them all set up in the Bantam Girls living in here. But anyway, just thought I'd give you a nice update on what we're doing with the coop, and hope you enjoyed. And until next time, stay perfect.